In today's metal guitar tutorial, I'm going to show you how to play deathcore music using deathcore guitar techniques. Some of your favorite bands like Lorna Shore, Dissonance, Brand of Sacrifice, they all use these kind of techniques. I'll also make sure that there's tabs down below in the video just to make sure that you can follow along. So let's jump right in without further ado. So the first topic we have to talk about with deathcore is the kind of notes that we're going to be using and the types of scales. So aside from our normal major and minor, we don't use major very much, except for the very odd occasion. We usually go with something called the harmonic minor. Basically, this scale is a minor scale, but with a major 7. So instead of, we'll get, and that right there, that's where we get a lot of our deathcore notes from. I'm gonna link a website that shows you where all the notes in these scales I'm talking about today are. So if you're interested in that, check out the description down below. A little too happy sounding. Now let's implement the harmonic minor. Already a lot more dark sounding. So it's common with deathcore, depending on where you're starting in the harmonic minor scale, is to do the notes 0, 1, 3, and 4, or 0, 1, 4, and 5. Or both of them are a lot more dark sounding because we get those 2 semitones back to back. The one weird one is because we get a 2-note gap, which isn't very common when it comes to, or actually even possible when it comes to a normal major scale. Really slight differences, but it's really up to you to decide where you want to start your scale and where you want your song to go. The next popular scale when it comes to deathcore music is to do the diminished scale. This one's kind of easy to remember because it's basically a semitone, skip a fret, semitone, skip a fret. So open 1, skip 2, 3, 4, skip 5, 6, 7, skip 8, 9, 10, and then we're back at the octave. What's nice to know about this scale and its patterns is that when you get to that 4th note there, continue that exact same pattern on the next string down, 1 fret over. And then it repeats every 3 frets. The next scale that's really important with deathcore music, and I think the most underrated scale in general, is the chromatic scale. Basically, every note on the fretboard works. Let me show you how much a difference we can make in the riff just by breaking the rules and going chromatic. It's pretty subtle, but it really allows you to nuance your riffs the ways that you want without having to worry about, am I in the right scale? It doesn't matter, as long as it sounds cool. So a next really important note structure when it comes to deathcore music is to stick with those 1 open, really distorted chords. So basically, instead of normal chug, you do the form of 1, 0, 0. Instantly heavier, and instead of doing normal barred chords, make those the 1, 0, 0 dissonant chords. Another important and possibly the most important technique when it comes to deathcore is alternate picking or tremolo picking. Basically picking as fast as you can, whether it's palm muted or not. One thing you'll also notice is that when I'm trying to play as fast as possible, when I'm chugging, usually my hand is like this. When I'm trying to play as fast as possible, I tuck my fingers in, and it somehow allows you to just get a bit more speed out of it. So I usually go from different hand techniques depending on which riff I'm doing. Some very common patterns when it comes to deathcore music is either the semitone root or the minor third root. What's very common when doing these two as well is to do hammer-ons. So basically we're gonna pluck the first note and then the second note, just press down without plucking. Hard enough to make the note come out. Same thing with the minor third. Very common sounds, and it allows us to do typical deathcore diminished runs like another common form with deathcore guitars is each string going one semitone over in the fret. Very, very dark and evil sounding. And since we're in drop tuning, that form looks like this on the top strings. So to take it to the next level, we're going to do some diminished tapping. Basically, we're just going to be doing minor thirds all across the board. So basically skipping 2 frets every note. It's totally fine to use your ring finger instead of your pinky if you want. I find my ring finger a lot stronger, and after realizing I need to play guitar a little bit more, my pinky's just not strong enough to keep it right now. Also common with deathcore music is to use triplets when you're doing breakdowns or really any kind of groove. So let me just show you the difference between normal quarter notes and triplets, or eighth notes and eighth note triplets. So get familiar with those changes, and when you're writing riffs, feel free to like completely interject both of them just to make the riff, in my opinion, more interesting. And then triplets also get used a lot in riffs itself. When it comes to deathcore breakdowns, usually we have 2 different types. There's one that's like extremely open, or there's one that's very quick chugs. So within this one breakdown, I have ideas of both. So mostly just really quick triplets and then leaving space for whatever kind of programming and sounds, which brings me to my next point, all the sounds that you can do on the guitar. And then the pinch harmonic, basically just stopping your string with your thumb. I have a whole tutorial on that if you want to check this out here. Normal harmonics. And then all the string scrapes. We have the upward one, backwards one on the top strings, forwards like a punk one. It's all over the place. Another really common one to do is to really hard hit the high strings. If you want to check out this video right here, I go over a bunch of different metal sounds that you should know as a guitar player. And then probably the last one is going to be using dissonant chords but higher up. What's very common, especially with bands like Knock Loose. I don't know if you consider them hardcore, deathcore, whatever you want to do. Those kind of really high sounds go really well with like open ones. Very common, but we can also use them in kind of melodic ways. So right now I'm going to play within a C major scale, but just using the dissonant chords to make them sound kind of melodic, but still dissonant. So really the important patterns to remember are the semitone, the minor third, and then the diminished kind of chord. And again, you can play semitones or minor thirds there. So thank you so much for watching. If you found any use in this video, please make sure to let me know down in the comments down below. Make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss out on the next one. And if you want to learn how to program drums when it comes to metal music, check out any of these videos right here. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time. See ya.